Good evening, guys. Welcome to an extremely special show. Normally, we get a guest on, and just a second for that evil noise. We usually get a guest on, and the guest we get on, we have a conversation about what they're up to, and it's fun. It's a nice chat. We never swear whenever we set up a show because we tend not to want to be kicked off YouTube. But of all the people I've ever spoken to and all the people I've ever followed on Facebook, watched on Instagram, watched videos on YouTube, every one of them will broadcast that they take no shit. And I've only ever really spoken to one person who actually officially sticks to the guns on that. And again, it's Mike Sinclair from White Noise Paranormal, who's on with us at the moment. We have had a few little technical issues with his camera. Apparently he's far too good looking to be on camera, so his camera broke. As you can see, mine and Kate's cameras work fine. Mine's got protection, Kate's too ugly. Accept it, take it on the chin. Now, as I said, Mike Sinclair, he has a tendency, of all the messages I've seen him ever post or statuses on Facebook, he says it as it is, and he'll always say, if it doesn't work or if you don't like what I'm saying, don't let the door hit you. And I think it's amazing. It's for once to actually meet somebody who sticks to the guns on something and does it so well. I applaud you, Mike, and again, I'm over the moon you've came on, and so is Kate. Aren't you, Kate?
Yeah. Right there, man. Right there.
Man crush.
Right there, man.
So,
okay.
No, so I'm again, as I said, I'm over the moon. So, yeah, Mike Sinclair. Right. First thing I'm going to bring up is more of a congratulations because of something we've talked about just before you came on here. With regards to your another YouTube channel that you run. You hit a major milestone. Do you mind telling everybody what the milestone was?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, all you guys know I do paranormal investigation, but before I got into that, I was about 13 years old, and we had a neat little magic shop. I'm not talking about Magic the Gathering cards. I'm talking about like magic tricks. And saved up my allowance and went in and bought a few things, and I got really interested in magic. You know, just the idea of doing something impossible. You know, showing somebody something, they're like, how did you do that? Because they couldn't recreate it. And I got out of magic for a long time. I was in high school. I guess I got a little more interested in girls than magic, which, I mean, hey, you know.
Yeah.
But about 4 years ago, I started a second channel, and just for fun, just to teach people how to do magic, because you know, I'm big into disproving things. Although I do want to see something, I do want to experience activity, but learning how to do these tricks, I was able to fool people. And when you think about that, I'm not the only person that can do that. We've got lots of other people out there that are using trickery to you know, create fake evidence and whatnot. Well, about a year ago, I got an email, and it was from Google and YouTube, and they said, "Congratulations, you have surpassed 100,000 subscribers," and they sent me a plaque, and it's called a silver Google Play button, and I never would have imagined I would ever, you know, get that many subscribers. Just teaching people how to do stuff, just like I do with the paranormal stuff. I like teaching people. That's what I like to do, and I like sharing my knowledge. So yeah, that was a pretty big deal for me.
That's superb. I mean, everybody likes to say that they do this to help others. Everybody says they like to. You get involved in the paranormal because they want to all aim for the same goal. Sometimes people, sadly, they seem to drift off towards wanting to be in mainstream media. For instance, sometimes people will drift off towards demonology, or maybe something that they necessarily believe in, but the rest of the world doesn't find as the status quo. Whereas with you started with and I've seen a few of your videos, you've done some tutorial videos for the new starters. You've done it for the right reasons, and you didn't even realise on one of your two channels that you managed to get yourself an award, for God's sake. That's amazing. But in the same breath, if it wasn't for some of the tutorials that you've done, there'd be a lot of stupid people out there using stupid pieces of equipment and not knowing how to use it, or obviously being stuck with little to no. You've brought backup, haven't you?
What's that?
I said you brought backup, haven't you? That's what it is in the background.
Oh yeah.
See, everybody has an opinion on the paranormal. That's what it is. But no, I mean, do you mind telling us of all the videos that you've ever done with regards to, you've done your tutorial videos, which one of them got you the most flack?
Oh man. My little girls, they're mad because they're not going to be on the show with me. I told them they had to go take a nap, so they're not very happy.
Sorry.
I got a lot of flack with the flashlight one, which you know, I didn't figure that out on myself. You know, I didn't really know a whole lot about electrical stuff. You know,
yeah.
But I had read it somewhere, and I started tinkering with it. You know, twisting the back off of the mag lights.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, it's really happening. I mean, it's going off. It's coming on. Oh God, what other ones? I've got the Ghost Radar apps for the.
Yes.
I get a lot of hate on those, and I mean, people are swearing. They're swearing that, you know, they're finding ghosts on these. They're getting EVPs, this, that, and the other. And I'm like, if there was a piece of equipment that could detect a ghost and tell you where it was, it would not be a free app on a cell phone. Yeah. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my God, spoken like a true legend. We earlier in the year, me and Kurt had a rather heated conversation with an individual who made an app. Kurt, don't you dare say the name because I know what you're like.
No.
This certain individual released an app, and I went onto forums, and I'm a believer that if a new piece of equipment comes out, give it the benefit of the doubt, but don't just buy it. Look at what it is, work out what it fundamentally is meant to do, and if it's meant to work with that purpose or not. And this piece of app, I'll call it a piece of no, I can't. This app anyway, was very. It relied on a randomized. It literally it shouted like literal one syllables of a word randomly created apparently a load of random mishmash, which then in turn makes words. So in other words, it works on the basis of statistics. Eventually something's going to come out that's going to sound like a word. And this guy was hell-bent, and he's got a heavy following of people who are huge believers that this app is real. And you know, when you listen, you think, okay, I understand people have got a belief, so I leave them to it. And we've had people on the show tell us that they use this app on a regular basis, and I've gone, oh, that's fine, oh, shit. Why did he? But no, I agree with the apps. If a mobile phone was meant to do anything like that, if it was meant to be able to work with Gauss, if it was meant to be anything more than a mobile phone, don't get me wrong, certain attachments may help, but fundamentally, it's a phone. You use it to call your friends or take stupid pictures.
Well, Mike did another good video that kind of to piggyback on what Mo was saying about if you were doing Shack versus the PSP7 and stuff like that. I found that interesting because I put in the new Radio Shack things, and I was like, there's no way I can hack this. And then I've had PSP7s, which of course I pick up more music than I would anything else. I sold everything. I do that. I'll buy it, I'll see it, I'll buy it, I'll waste my money on it, and then I'll sell it and take a huge hit on it. But just to use it to look, see if it works, you did an epic job on that one too, though.
Yeah, you've done it right. Again, I'll say you've done it right. But okay, now you said with regards to magic, you initially got into magic and you done it at quite a young age, and you moved on from there. And we, again, before the show, we had a bit of a conversation with regards to magic and the paranormal. What do you think pulled you to the paranormal? Fundamentally.
All right, so, repeat that one more time. I've got crazy babies and dogs in the background.
Don't worry. That's just called broadcasting. That's what happens. I get it all the time. Normally it's me. But yeah. So how did you manage to make not the jump, but how did you manage to correlate the paranormal and magic? What sort of edged you towards the investigation side?
Well, even when I was younger, we used to have well, I know it still airs, Unsolved Mysteries. I'm sure the guys have seen that
Yes.
probably.
Yeah.
And I would watch the episodes, especially the ones that had the ghost on it, because I thought it was so cool. Why? Because it's impossible. There's no way this can happen. How can this happen? And as I started, as I got older, I started noticing some of the shows come on, and then one of them was, I think the first show that I ever saw was like the first season of Ghost Hunters.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, I've got it. No. Let me take that back. Let me go back even further than that. In 1997, MTV released a series called Fear, MTV's Fear or something.
Yeah.
And they would have these people go into these locations, and the first one I remember seeing, they went into Moundsville and in West Virginia, and I was like, oh my God, that is so cool. I would love to do that, but there's no way you would get me in a building like that. I was scared because I didn't know anything,
Yeah.
It was really scary. And when I really started getting some equipment and started playing around with it, I guess I got kind of lucky because I'd already watched a lot of videos on how to do things, and I hate to say this, but I did learn some stuff from Taps in the earlier shows when they were going into houses and debunking things, and I started noticing a lot of just blatantly fake stuff on YouTube, There was a guy. We're actually friends. He did it basically for the money, which, I mean, hey, to each his own. But I was watching his videos and I was like, I know how he's doing this. And then I got to thinking, you know what? It's just simple tricks like I used when I was doing magic. People's minds are so easy to fool. Even the smartest people in the world, they can be fooled by the most simplest thing, and a lot of people are taking advantage of that for monetary gain or popularity or whatever. And I probably didn't even answer the question you asked me, but
No. Do you know what? No, you actually did. I was talking about the correlation between you with magic and with the paranormal. You did answer it. You answered it really well. But I do agree. Sometimes you see things and look, it doesn't matter what TV show it's on. You'll see something, and basically what they're going to do is right, Kurt, this is me biting my tongue, by the way. Yeah, okay. They'll show you the fundamental basics of what should happen when you go to an not what should, but what maybe a best practice of what should happen at an investigation. You should have a camera. You should have an audio recorder. Maybe take a pad and paper. Maybe start with the basics and move on to where you decide your style goes, whatever you decide you want to take it to. But unfortunately, the way the shows go, I do agree with you. I managed to watch Jeff Belanger on a show, I think he had called 30 Minutes or More, or 30 Minutes or Less, or something like that. And he was questioning he questioned Bill Chappell on he questioned Bill Chappell on the use of the ovulus.
All right, I gotta go. It was good. Nice meeting you guys. No,
Why?
No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm glad you brought that up. I want to hear what you have to say.
Oh my God! Why?
I was like, oh boy, here we go.
Do you own an ovulus? Do you?
No, I don't own one, but one of our team members, she started a team in West Virginia, and she made it was basically a Viper family team.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
Which was really cool. She was new to it, but she learned really well, and she had her head on straight, and I knew she was going to be a good investigator. Yeah. So starting off, she really didn't know what to buy, and she got one of the it was the Ovilus.
Yeah.
I think they were like $100, $200 at the time, maybe.
Yeah.
Very expensive, but so I have used one, but I'll let you continue, and then I'll chime in.
I'll jump in on that one so Mo doesn't have to bite his tongue on that.
No. Let me finish it. I've started the trouble.
Okay, you started it. Finish it now.
What happened was he asked Jeff Belanger asked Bill Chappell to explain how it works.
Yeah.
And Bill Chappell's answer was, it works on the basis that it's got a phonetic dictionary built into it of 2,000 words. Okay, and that phonetic dictionary, it uses, it's got a milligauss EMF reader built into it, and what it does is it looks at what the milligauss is. So if the milligauss is 3.4, it looks for the 34th word. If it's 2.1, it looks at the 21st word in the dictionary. And that was the way it was designed. And I kind of cringed when I heard it, because I thought, you are fundamentally talking to somebody from the 1800s who would be petrified if they seen a mobile phone because it looks like a glowing bomb or something like that. Yet they can manipulate the magnetic field around an ovulus to get it to pick a word out of a dictionary that they've got no access to. And I kind of cringed. Don't get me wrong, as I said, each to their own. If it works for you, then that's superb. But personally, on a personal note, I was kind of worried when I seen that. And then all of a sudden, the dynamics of the technology changed. It moved towards thermal, which we were talking about a little bit earlier. Where thermal's concerned, I've got a big belief that thermal's really good. Not everybody has. I mean, I've had a lot of conversations with people saying, what's thermal? Go on, Kev.
Well, I was going to ask you, though, Mo. I was going to ask you. But when let's say you do buy a $4,000 thermal camera.
Yeah.
And that's still cheap. That's still on the low end.
Yeah.
Of it all. How... You got to be able to understand how to use it, proper coloring, and a lot of times even these shows, they don't do it right.
Did anybody ever get a chance to watch an episode of Ghost Adventures, a very, very early episode where they went to the Edinburgh Vault in Britain? Did you ever get to see that? No, this is the one where they went and they were speaking to a guy called Mr. Boots, right? I only know this because this episode is like the National Lampoon's vacation, basically. It was hilarious. He had all the tri-field meter, and they start panicking because apparently something changes or something happens, and he's doing nothing more than going, it's a 3.2, it's at a 3.2. Oh, it's gone to a 4. It's gone to a 4. I'm thinking, do you know what a 3.2 is? Have you got any idea what it is? You're underground. You've probably got underground mains cables running everywhere above your head because you are literally 2 meters underneath the street, and I don't even think they knew what it was, what they were talking about. But that's a gripe I've got. Unfortunately, I'll move away from the gripe and I will move back on towards YouTube if that's okay. Safely, of course. What made you decide to, when you started doing the videos and you started doing the tutorials? What made you decide to start looking towards doing the tutorials? What brought you there?
Well, when I started out, I didn't know anything. The only thing I knew is what I saw on the first season of Ghost Hunters and that special that Ghost Adventures did. That's what I knew. That's all I knew. I had a cheap little RCA voice recorder, which the sound quality was horrible. I mean,
yes.
And I had a ghost meter, which is like the it's clear. It's got the little red light on the top. It's like an analog dial on it, and I think it goes up to like 10 milligauss or whatever.
Yeah. Cool.
I know a lot of people.
Okay, that noise is on your side.
There is no noise on my side.
Weirdness. I'll work that out. Sorry, Mike. Can you continue? Sorry.
All right.
Milligauss. Yeah.
The question one more time. My ADD is really bad. Every single show I'm on, I tell people if you ask me a question, I'm gonna go off on some weird rant and tangent.
Mike, can I make you feel more comfortable? You'll love it. You'll like this. Dyslexic, yeah. And he's bipolar.
Yeah, bipolar, dude. So there you go.
Sweet.
We are like a sensory educational paranormal show where we all have some form of disorder. Well played. Well played.
I remember the question now. I tried to get a team together, but I didn't know anybody, and I jumped online and was looking around and finally found this one guy in my area that wanted a tech guy on his team. Now I've got a background in video and audio, so I was really suited with that. I think everybody's got kids screaming in the background. Is that right?
That's fine. I'm going to quiet my mic down on this one. My kid's going ballistic. Gives 2 seconds.
But I put up a couple of videos just showing some things that we had caught or we thought we caught anyway. For your first investigation, you always catch like 600 EVPs because you really don't know. I mean, you've got an investigator talking in the background, and you don't realize that when you listen to it. And that comes along with experience. And I started. I did a couple little tutorials just from the things that I experienced, nothing much. And I was watching all these other channels and watching the things they were doing, and I got to thinking, and I was like, I've only been doing this like a couple years, and I mean, not to try to sound conceited, but I know more than these guys do. So I mean, and I had no idea. I didn't know anything. I didn't think I knew anything, and I'm like, if this is the stuff they're putting out, something's got to be done. So I started learning about EVP. I went to this amazing website. I think it was called AAA EVP or something like that, and they were talking about analyzing your EVPs, with frequency, and so you could actually look at your audio as well as listen to it. So you can, it helps to be able to decide whether you have an obvious human voice, or it could be something along the paranormal nature. And once I started doing that, man, I was hooked. Like for the first year or so I was doing it, I wasn't working, so that's all I was doing. I was on the internet. I was learning things. I was learning how to analyze photos. What types of stuff to look for. Yeah. And once I started figuring these things out, I'm not seeing any videos about any of this on the internet, and I'm like, well, I'm going to put it out there. And I started coming up with my own ideas, and my team chimed in, and they had ideas, and it just took off from there.
No, I'm glad you did. As me, can you hear me okay now? By the way,
I can hear you great.
Superb. Now, as I said a little bit earlier, I'm glad you have made the videos, because people are still now in a situation where when they start up, they don't have access to. They have access to the internet. But what they have access to is people's opinions.
Right.
People's opinions are easily misconstrued, or, it could easily be negative. But things like, as Kurt mentioned, the torch trick that I know you said you didn't, it wasn't your initial idea, but it was something that you brought to light to a lot of people. It's brought to light, no pun intended. I didn't. That was poor. You brought that to people, and a lot of people watched it. I remember showing Kurt it a few years ago. I was like, look at this. That explains it. And at the time, we were affiliated with somebody who believed in that. And we were like, yeah, okay, do we tell him?
I don't know, did we tell him? Or did we just kind of keep it quiet?
I'm sure we just left them to it.
Yeah, probably.
But, I mean, as I said, people, when they've only got TV shows, armchair investigators, which are the people who are under the impression that they are the best investigators in the world, who never ever leave the house. Skeptics who believe just because it's a digital image, it's instantly been manipulated. And demonologists who believe that everything is the devil. When you've got a field of that, you get sort of dragged towards, maybe the novices get dragged towards doing it the way they see on the television. When, as I said, back to the way your videos were, it was the right way of showing people. I remember you done a light. I think it was called a SEMA light, or a SEMA light.
A SEMA, yeah.
Yeah, I bought one of them lights. I still haven't done it yet, but I bought one about a year ago, and it was one of the best purchases. It's such a simple purchase, but it was one of the best purchases I've ever made.
What is it for people that are going to watch this or watching this right now? Can you explain what that is?
Right. Okay. No, actually, Mike, you can explain it if that's okay.
The SEMA light, it's an infrared light. I mean, it's a near infrared light. It's not officially infrared, but when you turn it on, if you were turning on and look at it with the lights off, you would see just a little red glare. It doesn't put out any visible light. It's got another filter over top of it, and it's used with any well, almost any infrared cameras. The only ones I can say that it doesn't work with is the Bell and Howell. Bell and Howell came out with some, and I know a lot of people that have bought those cameras, and they're like my SEMA light doesn't work with it, and I got to researching, and it's because with the with the Bell and Howell, it was deep infrared, so the lights just wouldn't work with it. Well, anyway,
Yeah.
the SEMA it's got 32 LEDs in it, and it is extremely bright. One of those you can brighten up a huge room, and what's really cool about it. Yeah, look at that. Interesting.
Do you know what's even better? It's on the screen right now. Yeah.
But the SEMA light's only good for what, 20-something minutes, I guess, right?
See, here's the thing. It takes 3 hours to charge, and it runs for about 45 minutes. The older ones, when you get about to the 30-minute mark, they start dimming.
Okay.
And you don't realize it until you go back to review your excuse me.
Yeah.
You go back to review your video, and you're like, oh my God, I can't see anything. It's because the light was going dim. Well, the newer models, they made it to where it would basically just like a lithium battery or a rechargeable battery.
Mm-hmm.
It runs full blast until it's dead, then it's dead. It doesn't slowly start losing power. So that's what they did. So after 45 minutes, it blinks 10 times and it cuts off. Now, that's awesome if you're doing 45-minute investigations. But, usually when we go out, it's at least several hours. And if that's all you've got, the one light, you're going to be stuck with the light that you've got on your camera. So we bought a couple more of them, and I saw this video on YouTube. I can't remember what it was called, but it was a guy modifying a SEMA light, only it had 9 LEDs on it, so it was much smaller, and it had I forget what kind of battery it had in it, but he would take the back off of it and just be able to replace the battery. So rather than charging it for 3 hours for 45 minutes of runtime, that's what he did, and I was like, well, why can't I do this with the SEMA with the 36 LED SEMA? So I took a chance of screwing it up, and I took the back off of it, and there were all these wires in there, and it had a 3.7 volt battery in there, and I'm like, how can I get 3.7 volts? Yeah. And because I didn't know a whole lot about electronic stuff like that, and I was like, wait a minute. Rechargeable batteries put out a constant 3.2 volts. So 3 of those, that's 3.6. I'm almost there.
1.2, you mean?
Oh, what did I say?
You said 3.2. Don't worry, I do it all the time. Sorry.
Yeah, you're right.
Sorry, man. Sorry.
I'm just shaking my head right now, dude.
Okay, you can't see me sticking a finger up to you on the camera.
It's okay. I'm just shaking my head. I'm awestruck that you just did that.
I'm sorry.
1.2 volts times 3 is 3.6. There we go. And I did some wire snippery and hooked a thingamajigger to it. I don't even know what you call it. And I made it to where it would Velcro to the back of the unit. And now all we had to do was pop in three of
the rechargeables.
Yeah, 3 of the rechargeables to get the 3.6 volts. You couldn't tell any difference in the brightness. I don't think that one little volt you were missing made much of it. It hurt it too bad. And I had some of them run like 3 hours. So I mean, you're looking at either having to buy 10 of these lights to do investigations, or just modifying one of them. And
here's a question that I watched the video, and as I said, if it wasn't for the fact I watched the video, I wouldn't have bought one of the lights. But in the video, you mentioned obviously about putting batteries in. Have you ever accidentally put normal batteries in it? I mean, is it capable of doing so?
I don't know.
Because I know a lot of circuits, especially a lot of low voltage circuits, they have a tolerance. So sometimes they can handle a little bit more. I'm not saying try it. I'll happily blow mine up. Don't need to.
No, I'm blowing it up as soon as we get off of here.
Do it.
I mean, I'm not an expert. I think it would probably work, but I mean, I wouldn't want to put too much voltage to it, and risk burning something out. But
Yeah. I'll happily I'll do it to mine. Don't worry, because I'll replace if a resistor goes. I'll replace it. Don't worry. But what I will point out is, whilst we were talking and I brought up the screen, which you can see at the moment, all I've done was typed in Simmer infrared light or Seaman infrared light, and then fourth row down, that guy appears.
who's that handsome guy?
Yeah.
Who is that handsome guy?
Look at him there. The guy who's too good to be on a camera because he's too attractive. That's what it is. Well played. But no, do you know, when you look down the lights, and this is two things I'll point out about something so simple. The lights have got attachments on the sides, the top, and the bottom, so you can add multiples. But not just that. If you look down the list and you start noticing homemade lights, and you think, yeah, okay, I built a load of them, right? And they were about as useful as a chocolate fire guard. As a matter of fact, if you take a little look at this one here, which can you see where my mouse is hovering over? That I would struggle to walk into an investigation trying to look reputable with that. But, I'm sorry, I've got to say it. Oh, there's another guy who looks like you as well.
Yeah.
Now, do you want to know something else? It's a little bit of a hint. If you look at the bottom, just underneath the name there of what this part here, guide at Alibaba.com, I've got a funny feeling Alibaba.com's like it's an online web seller. It looks like they're using one of your videos as a bleeding guide.
Yeah, you did tell me about Alibaba earlier. Oh yeah, that's
congratulations, you're famous.
Congratulations, you're an ad for Alibaba now.
Hey,
famous. But nevertheless, yeah, I mean, it's something so simple, as you say. When you've done the change, it was something in my eyes. I mean, I'm glad you've done it. I really am, with all the videos, because I started off once. You started off, as you said, and Kurt, he started off in like the 30s. Now,
yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Kurt's camera.
I gotta smile and laugh because Mo does make me laugh at times. Makes me feel older as hell. I mean, I was. Me and Houdini were
red flash out to one of those big puff. I
couldn't tell you because me and Houdini were breaking up seances at the time, dude. That's all I gotta say, man.
Well played. But no, as I said, with regard to that, I'll happily blow mine up and I'll test it for you. But I'm happy with it. But do you know, when you look at some of the, you also done a tutorial or a few videos, sorry, which are called "How to Be a Ghost Hunter." Now, do you remember much about when you done that? Do you remember how was that received on your channel?
I don't remember. It's been so long ago. Yeah, I didn't. I guess when I did the channel, originally I didn't think it would be a guide for people, to do investigations with. I mean, I didn't think people would take me that seriously, and I started getting all these emails, and I just couldn't believe it that people were thanking me for this, thanking me for that, and I was like, well, I want you guys to be able to do it right and to learn the right way, and not go out and have to blow your money on a bunch of crap.
Of course.
And there were a couple other channels on there that were that would teach some things. Some of them I would agree with. Most of them I wouldn't. I mean, not saying that's not the right way to do it, but I wouldn't do it like that because it would, if I do stuff different than people do.
Yeah, at least you're polite about it the way you say it. I mean, maybe some people do it differently. I mean, I struggle with that. Sometimes I just say, oh, I don't like it. I turn into a grumpy child about it. But no, I see what you mean. On YouTube, a lot of people do stuff their own way. It's not necessarily the right way. It's not necessarily the wrong way. But I mean, it's a applaud to yourself to say that people are thanking you for something you've done.
Yeah.
Not everybody can say that. I can tell you now, we've got 2,500 followers on our channel at the moment, and one of our videos, which is based on the Enfield poltergeist, my phone will alert me. Well, put it this way: since we've been on air, let me just double check something. I've had 3 notifications with regards to people arguing about the video. Beyond me, and I literally just leave it to happen. It's like
what are they arguing about? by the way.
One of them is it's an old argument that somebody had because they posted. Now, Mike, do you know much about the Enfield poltergeist?
Uh,
Can I make it remarkably easy for you?
Please.
1970s. Okay, right. This was in the 1970s, and some absolute college genius / professor / knuckle dragon ape said, if this really happened, why didn't anybody film this on their mobile phone? And then wrote noobs at the end. And you know when you listen to somebody, and it reminds me of a tweet which happened, the best tweet of 2014, when some girl said, "Oh, 2012. Oh my God, the Titanic actually happened. Hashtag mind blown. Thought it was a film." And that the second I heard that comment on the channel, I was like, "Oh my dear God, he actually said he's gonna. Why didn't anybody take photographs on the camera phone?" And that's been an argument which has been ongoing since. Now I don't know if it was a troll, which everyone seems to get, or whether it was just somebody being an absolute lunatic. But I kind of love that's what I mean. Sometimes you get the negatives, and sometimes you'll get, obviously, like you do, you actually get the positives. I'm yet to see one yet on our channel, but no, I'm impressed that people...
Okay, we have a question for Mike in the chat room, and it's for Afterlife Goes On Investigations, and it says, are there people out there that have a knack for attracting ghosts via EVPs that are not fakes? Interesting question, but I was like, wow, let me think about that one too.
Allow me to ponder. I think it is possible that you know, I mean, oh well, that's a good question.
It's loaded, dude. It's loaded like a shell. That's all I gotta say.
All right, give me that question one more time, and then
Okay, I'll reread it again. Afterlife Goes On Investigations is asking, are there people out there that have a knack for attracting ghosts via EVPs that are not fakes?
So are they basically asking, are there people out there that maybe have
maybe people
have an ability, maybe
people who manage to attract EVPs?
I think that's possible. Now keep in mind, in my 8 years of doing this, we've got some Class Bs, a handful of Class Bs, and 2 Class As, and that's it. That's not a lot.
You'd almost have to be wired like a cell phone tower. I mean, in order, I think, to be honest with you, to be like attracted to that. I mean, unless you put yourself in the right situation. But as you said, in 8 years, you're talking only a few Bs and a Class A. What, a couple times, Mike?
Yeah, 2 times. Yeah, 2 Class A.
And we've heard that from other investigators too. We've talked to that. They say that 90% of the time, 95, 96% of the time, everything that they've investigated, they've been able to explain away. You know, people are too quick to say, "Oh, I have the ability. I have the ability." You don't have the ability. I mean, unless you could prove it to me. You know, but that is a good question. I'm sorry, Mike?
I said that's right. Prove it to me. Here's something interesting now. When we started our team, we adopted a Bichon, which is a dog, if you've never heard of Bichon, and we started taking him on investigations. And I believe he went on us with 2 investigations, and on those 2 investigations is when we called our 2 Class A EVPs.
See, that's interesting. That's interesting.
Sorry, go on. Sorry.
Another thing, when we first started, you know, nobody knew who we were. We investigated our houses, we investigated our friends' houses, and you know, we didn't know how to get into these locations. We didn't have hundreds of dollars to go pay to investigate. I'm not going to say the name, but so we would investigate cemeteries, and people were like, "Oh, there's not going to be any ghosts at cemeteries." Blah 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 blah. Well, first off, how do you know? How can you even say that? So in Virginia, of course, it's illegal to be in cemeteries after dark. And at the time, we really didn't know that. So finally, we were starting getting permission. Which, believe it or not, if the right type of people are running it, and you're nice with them, you could get permission. So we got permission to investigate this. It was a mausoleum, and it was like a military. It was like a military cemetery almost, and we'd been to the place 10 or 15 times and hadn't really caught anything because there's a main road right off of it. You've got the wind blowing. Anytime you're outside, you've got so much contamination, and you just got to be careful what you're doing. So my wife was walking our dog, Steve-O, and he takes her off to a weird spot in the cemetery. We didn't even know it was there, and it was a pet cemetery. It was about, I don't know, 10 foot by 10 foot, and he walked right to that. I mean, there were no markers, nothing marking it until literally you got up on it, and you can see that it was a pet cemetery there. And I thought that was so strange. Well, that day, that was actually the day that now I will say this: if you're starting investigating and you want to investigate cemeteries, that's cool, but get permission because it is illegal, it is a misdemeanor, and yeah, it's gonna discredit your team, so don't do that. But
I am so sorry, Mike. I laughed. It wasn't at you. It was just the look that Mo and I kind of shot, kind of catty corner at each other, and we used to call it brick and ladder investigation.
Do you know what? There's another saying that I use on a regular basis, right? It's please do as I say, don't do as I do. You'll get in trouble.
Yeah, right.
Oh my God.
Right. So it was so funny that this was probably the fourth or fifth time we had been there, and at this point we didn't have permission because we were just starting, we didn't know, and my wife, our dog Steve-O, and another female investigator were up at the top where the mausoleum was, and myself and another male investigator, we were somewhere else, trying our best to get something to happen, which nothing happened, and this vehicle pulls up. It's a van, and my wife radios me, and she's like, "Yeah, somebody just now stopped us," and I'm like, "Oh no!" And it was the caretaker, and he asked what we were doing, and she said, we were investigating," and he said, "Who are you investigating?" She said, "Well, we're investigating ghosts," and he laughed. He got a good kick out of it, and he was like, I'll tell you what, you guys come here anytime you want to. Just come up here, knock on my door, let me know you're here, and have your way at it." So he was really cool about it. So that night, they were down they were down at the bottom of the cemetery taking a couple photographs, and one of the investigators had said, I've got a camera here, and if you would like to be in this picture, please please stand here. We'd love to see what you look like. And you hear a couple pictures snap, and then maybe about 15 seconds goes by, and you hear the voice of a clear voice of a little girl. It didn't sound distorted or anything. It sounded just like a person talking. It said, "Do you see me?" And
wow.
we took that home, and I listened to it, and I was like, it had to have been one of them. It had to have been my wife or the other girl. And this was right when I was learning spectral analysis. And she swore up and down to the point where for months I pulled out equipment, and I had them try to sound as close as they could to that voice and speak so we could compare it in the analysis to make sure it was not them. And my wife quit the team. She got so mad. She's like, "You're driving this into the ground," and I don't think she's investigated with us since. But
were you OCDing Mike real hard on that one?
Horribly, man, because I didn't want to put anything crap out there because I saw so much of it done, and there was, oh my God, there was this team. I'm not going to name them because they're not in business anymore.
Okay.
But I put a video up, and it was I was showing some false anomalies, just orbs, long exposure, stuff like that. And there was one thing that I really couldn't figure it out. I knew it wasn't paranormal, but I didn't know the exact reason for it. and this team got on there, and they were like, "You stupid, blah 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 blah," just being totally rude. And I'm like, my God, I thought we were all on the same team here. And they ended up. I got embarrassed, so I took the video down, took that piece out, redid it, and then explained what the other stuff was. Well, about I don't know, a couple years later, somehow I come across one of their videos, and they were in this basement, and I actually did a debunking video on this.
Mm-hmm.
And
Revenge.
yeah, a girl was sitting in a chair and soaking wet. She couldn't have been 80 pounds, and she's sitting in the chair with her legs crossed, and she's kind of got her elbows up on the armrest, and if you look at the video, you slowly see her inch her arm back just a little bit, and you can see her push off the wall, and because she didn't weigh very much, she was able to make the chair slide across the room. And I looked at that, and I was like, oh my God. So I watched it, and I put it through some software just to get a closer look at it, and sure enough, they're total frauds, man. And I think what they were doing was, honestly, they looked like a freak show. If you went to their website, the girls were half naked, they were all tattooed up. I think they were trying to get a television show. I mean, that's what I come down to.
That's like, but to do that, to get a television show, to me is like a slap in the face of like the field, I guess.
Yes.
And you see that with a lot of people. We come across that from doing this for so long, that there are people that it happens to, and then there are people that want it to happen to.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, the people that it just happens to, cool. And the other people are willing to sell their soul, pardon me, because I really don't believe in souls too much. They're willing to sell their souls to get on Destination America.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing this, and I'm seeing people going, I knew that guy, sold out, sold out, sold out. And it just pisses me off, dude. I mean, I don't know, man.
If you don't mind me interjecting slightly, a couple of episodes ago, Kit, we interviewed, I'm sure it was Brian Cano, or Cano. I always get his name right.
Yes, Brian. I believe it was.
Forgive me, because you got amazing Christmas lights. Yeah, Christmas lights up and it looked amazing, sorry. Total diversion there. But I asked him a question. I said, what's the one thing that you think destroys the paranormal TV? And the first thing he said was, the producers and the life expectancy of being on TV is terrible. Not everybody's got big muscles and really good hair, which is pretty much word for word what he said. And it made me wonder straight after that maybe too many people tried their utmost or tried the hardest to get themselves to... Too many people try their utmost and the hardest to get on TV. And the problem with getting onto TV is it's... Right now, what I do and what Kate do on the show, and Mike, what you do, right, is on your terms. If you decide tomorrow you're going to get up and do a video on paranormal and McDonald's, you'll do it. You'll hurt no feelings. You'll do it. The TV shows want you to do what they want, nothing more, nothing less. So TV is never the way to go with the paranormal. So if I could give anybody any advice, is steer clear of it with a massive barge pole. That's the only thing I can suggest, because it's a flash in the pan. At least the way we do it on our terms. No matter how terrible it is. From our side, of course. Is anybody else getting off feedback, by the way?
Yeah, I'm getting it.
I need to work out what that is, but...
It's Mo's fault. It's Mo's fault. I've been blamed for it. Every show I've done or helped produce or whatever, I've been blamed for it.
It's Kate's face, man. It's always your face.
It's gotta be, dude. It's gotta be my new haircut.
It is your new haircut. It just makes noise.
I look so good with it, dude. I don't know, man. I just want to be on a TV show. That's all.
You're getting hit with a question I've asked every guest that we've had on season 3. I'm going to ask you exactly the same question, right? Everybody on Investigation has done one thing which is embarrassing, terrible, they shouldn't have done, and they want to rip the hair off of the fact that they've done it in the first place. What's the most embarrassing thing you've done? It could be falling over, it could be anything. Go. I mean, it has to be true, which obviously you will tell the truth.
Maybe. No, I'll tell the truth. offhand, we do a lot of work with other teams because anytime I go on an investigation, I like to teach somebody something, and most of the time I learn something too because and that's the way it is. So it was an old house. I can't remember where it was at, but we didn't have a whole lot of equipment at the time. We had a few cameras, and I decided to set up a camera in the basement, and we were just getting started, and we were taking so long to set up, and we got to get this thing going. We got to get this thing going. And I set the camera up, and I stood in front of the camera. This is camera such and such here in the basement. I had a 1 hour mini DV tape in there, and I was ready to get going. So I took off running up the staircase to get up to where everybody else was, and I hit that last step, and I went right through it. It's I've got a video on YouTube. You can kind of see where the stair snaps. It snaps right in half. Yeah. Everybody's like, "Oh my God, are you all right?" But excuse me. And I'm sure I've probably done some more dum dums, but that's really the first one that comes to mind was when and that was being careless. And a lot of people don't realize it, but when they're going into old houses that they've never been in, these houses can be falling apart. And a lot of people breaking into locations to investigate, and I mean, we didn't break into that investigation. We had permission from the owners to be there, but people are just so careless, and those are the dangers of paranormal, in my opinion. It's being careless, and not using a flashlight, obviously not to detect ghosts, but not using a flashlight to see your way around. If you can't see, you're gonna hit stuff. You're gonna bump into investigators. You're gonna knock somebody's prize vase over in the floor. And you definitely don't want to have to pay for their stuff.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Now, I used to think that an embarrassing thing for me was when you're on investigation and you bang your head on something. And I've lost count how many times I've banged my head on a pipe, for instance, just walking past a pipe or a door. And I don't even class it as embarrassing no more. I just class it as occupational hazard.
Yeah.
But what I will say is somebody in the chat room, which is Afterlife Goes on Investigations, put police busted me twice. Well played, guys.
Well done. Yeah. Well, I'm giving this person well done. You got me beat.
That's impressive. I mean, I've never been arrested for the paranormal. I have
you've been lucky because in England they catch you. They're like, tis tis. You want a biscuit? You want a cup of tea?
No.
Dude, I had to show my ID to the park ranger at a battlefield, and I was just like shaking my head because we were trespassing. They said because we went past this one area. But when we said, we told them, we're like, dude, we got lost on the trail. We're really trying to find a way to kayak in and do an investigation at night. But aside from that, dude, I think you have it good in England.
We do. We do have it good in England because it's easy for us to go to an investigation. Now, one thing that Mike was saying a little bit earlier is it's a misdemeanor for you guys in America to go into a cemetery after dark.
It depends. For me, it depends.
I've lost count of how many times I've been in a cemetery after dark. It's they don't even have gates on the cemeteries, they do in some of the bigger ones, but some of the older cemeteries, they're just wide open. You can just walk into them. That's just
as long as it's posted in Maryland. It's more of a state law, probably. I think, Mike. Because in Maryland, if it's posted, you don't do it.
Yeah.
And if it's not posted, I'm going in.
There you go. Yeah, it is a law in Virginia, and you're right. Not all states do have these laws, so.
No, I mean it's a struggle because I can't see what purpose there is for a cemetery to be not allowed access to a cemetery. This is a weird. Look at it this way, right? If you are in a cemetery at night, you're not there to cause much trouble. If you are there to cause trouble, this is going to sound horrible. You will hurt nobody. Or the other option is be in a car park with your friends. Which one could you cause more trouble in?
Dude, you're dogging in a car park, Mo. I'm talking. You go back to the cemetery.
No. What happens is Well, I go into a car park, I drive up in my house because I'm a gypsy, and just park. I just move in. The wife and the kids on the back of the horse and cart, like just trotting along. She loves me. She really loves me. She's looking over at me with love.
Oh, I tell her I apologize. I don't mean to bring that into your family.
No.
My apologies to Mike too and everybody else.
No, I think the I love asking that question though, because it sort of shows you everybody's done something stupid. Everybody on an investigation has done something stupid, and it takes a special type of person to actually say, "This is the thing I done, which made me a dipshit." And I mean, as I said, I've lost count of stupid things I've done. I really have. But I think one day I'm going to make outtakes of the idiotic things done. And again, I hope you do. I hope you get a load of stuff together and just embarrass your team, because again, the one thing with it is that you need friends, you need communication. If you go there believing that you are a SWAT team and that you should be military about every single thing you do, it ain't going to last 5 minutes. So.
Okay, Mike, you do have a question in the chat room.
All right.
From Afterlife Goes On, who's been busted twice by the cops. Props to the person to admit it. I'm fist bumping you right here in the chat room right now. Mike, what's the scariest thing you've come across, dude?
Mice.
Mice. That's fair.
No, one time probably I always thought that if I was on an investigation and I saw something, an apparition,
yeah,
I don't know what I would do. I mean, because I had, up until just a couple of years ago, I'd never seen one, and I thought I'll probably freak out. That's probably what I would do. But we were investigating a place called St. Albans, and that's in Radford, Virginia. And it was an old asylum, and then it was a boys' home after that. But they were doing the haunted house there, and our team came down, just to kind of get our name out there and whatnot, answer people's questions as they were coming out. Well, back, I don't know, a few years ago, Ghost Adventures did this this competition, and all these teams would go in, and then whoever proved to be the best investigators, they would win. I can't remember what it was called.
Paranormal Challenge, it was called.
Paranormal Challenge, that's what it was. And Appalachia Paranormal was the one that had won at that time.
Yeah.
And they were out there, and those guys were really cool. And there was another team who we're good friends with called 333 AM Paranormal.
Yeah.
And so they were going to be investigating that night, and all my guys were like, should we bring some gear? And I was like, no, we probably won't investigate or anything. So, which was stupid on my that was probably the stupidest thing I've ever done, is not taking equipment with me. But they invited us to come and investigate with them, and I was like, sweet, because I had never been in there. And there was this one area that was kind of off limits, but you could get there. I mean, so we went down into what was called the women's isolation, and it was like I don't know, about 8 rooms, with they all had doors on them, just a little teeny window that you could peep through, and then in another room there was a tub, like I don't know, I'm guessing for bathing or maybe some aquatherapy or something like that. But I walked down there with one of the girls from 333, and earlier, because she investigated the night before, she was telling me that she had that everything feels different tonight than it did the night before, and. Yeah. I've never really been one to go on feelings a lot, because I try to be as scientific as possible. But we get down in this room, and we couldn't have been down there a minute, and I started getting this pain in my chest. I mean, it wasn't like somebody was squeezing me, but it just felt like my chest was getting heavy. It was like it was hard to breathe. And I'm sitting here thinking, well, this place is probably full of asbestos and mold and this, that, and the other. And this went on for about 20 minutes, and it scared me a little bit, because I had never experienced anything like that. Well, a little bit more time goes by, and the pressure starts going up to my neck, like around my throat. Again, not like something's grabbing me, but just a pressure, like something's like I'm just having a hard time breathing. And they were like, "We need to get you out of here." And I was like, "No," I was like, "This is what I'm here for. This is it. This is why I'm here. This is why I do this."
Yeah.
And so I walked into this room where the tub was, and as soon as I stepped over the threshold, all of my energy was drained. I almost fell down. My knees went weak, and I was instantly able to stand back up, and it was all gone after that. But for the next, I don't know, 45 minutes after we left, I still had that pressure in my chest and the pressure around my neck, and it was just so strange. Earlier, I was talking to the girl, and I was like, you said it feels a little bit different last night than it did tonight. I said, how are you feeling now? And she looked at me. She says, I have an extreme pressure on my chest. And I was like, what? Because I mean, that kind of validated what was happening for me. And we go outside. It probably took 45 minutes to an hour for it to all clear up. I grab a couple of my guys. I'm like, we got to go back down there. I got to find out what it was. My explanation was, it's got to be asbestos down there, mold down there, something I'm having some kind of reaction to. Since that, I've probably been in that area 10 or 15 times, and it never happened again. And I mean, it scared me. I mean, it really did, because I mean, something was happening, and I didn't understand it. And
Sorry, go on. Sorry, keep going.
That was the end of it.
I want to say, it takes now. You get with the paranormal is people will honestly say to you, they'll go, right, I'll never be scared of anything, and nothing will scare me. I can do it. If something happened, I wouldn't be scared. I'm not going to lie to you. If I ever came in contact with an individual who said to me it wouldn't scare me, I'd be incredibly surprised. Because people who actually would be that person, not people who say it, because people say it all the time. The way I look at it is, if you're sitting there and you do not know what is in front of you causing you any affliction in the first place, wouldn't you be worried because you're not sure of the outcome of the situation? Of course you'd be worried. I've hightailed down a set of stairs. I have literally called the cops, ran down the stairs, because in front of us at an investigation, I heard a shuffle and then stamping of feet. Now, I'm not going to say it was paranormal. I can't, because I can't verify it. I had the camera on at the time, and because of the noise of us, as you do between point A and point B when you're going somewhere, you're talking away. So we're talking on the footage, and the next minute I stop and go, what was that? And there was me. There was me and two other guys. I was the smallest of the two. The other two were bigger than me, and we all decided time to run. And we all just got down those stairs and got out. It was the simplest answer we could come up with. Didn't know what it was, didn't know what was coming. If I was aware of something that was there, I could have dealt with it, but no, I didn't know what it would be. So I'm not stopping to decide to high five when I think something's running at me, or someone's running at me. So I was like, time to go. Now, what I will point out is, kid, do you remember Ambrosia and Mama Kathy?
I'm sorry?
Do you remember Ambrosia and Mama Kathy from when we were on Blog Talk?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, anyway, she's popped in. She just wanted to say that to let us all finally know that she's popped in, and she said hi, and she said Mama Kathy from Ohio.
Oh, yeah.
So, thanks for listening, but she has actually put the most dumbest thing that she ever done was to leave my camera lens cover on and just take pictures like crazy.
That's awesome, though. Hey,
yeah, I was going to say that's awesome.
Anyone who's willing to call in or just type in or check out the show and admit to that, awesome, way cool.
Look, you know, I've done stupid things, and I'm not saying, Ambrosia, I'm not saying that what you've done there is stupid. I'm saying that we've all probably done it, and only half of us would ever admit it. That's made me giggle. Now, Afterlife Goes On again has put something in the chat room saying, "Wow, guys, hard to prove the paranormal real, even with evidence. It's the other things in the dark that I'm afraid of." And
People?
chairs. In the Lego, I'm scared of Lego in the dark. Lego's the worst thing. And Mike, you're a father. You will have to agree with me. If there's Lego on the floor and you step on it in the dark,
Oh, no shoes on it? Oh, that's brutal. Brutal.
that is called child landmines. They are little kid landmines. Them evil little pieces of Lego. They're horrible. But no, I agree. It's hard to prove that the paranormal is real, even with the evidence. It's too many people are there to say no to something, and we sort of fight a losing battle. But
Yeah.
it is where we are now. What I will say is, unfortunately, we are coming to the end now, because I did say to Mike that we'd try and keep it to roughly an hour, and we've gone to about an hour and 20. So I apologise about dragging you along on our little weird journey of insanity, Mike. But again,
I'll stay here all night, man.
No, we'd bore you very quickly. Don't you worry about that. What I will say though is, for people who aren't already over on his on Mike's page, it's Scream Freak 79.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If you're not already over there, go over there. If you're new to the paranormal, go over there. If you don't go over there, then you've got serious issues, and I'd suggest counselling. You need to go over, just plain and simple, and go and subscribe. It's well worth it. I subscribed before I even got into anything to do with the radio, anything to do with the videocasts, and Kurt was alongside me at one point for a very long time.
Mo pointed it out, and I was like, okay, I'll check it out. And I'm like, whoa, this is pretty cool.
So,
I got on it, and I was like, damn.
I'm not just saying it to blow smoke. You need to do it. You need to get over there and subscribe. If you don't, I'm going to ask Mike to check tomorrow to make sure people have subscribed. And if you haven't, I'm going to get your IP addresses, and I'm going to link you all to porn. I've got no problems doing it.
Oh.
No, you're not getting free opinion. Oh, wait there. Hang on a second. One more question's appeared.
What?
Yeah, from a Ghost Justice crew have put through. What's everyone's opinion on the ghost hunting apps? Are there any that actually are functional? And when is Mike's next video coming out? Brilliant question.
What's up, Ghost Justice crew? I know you guys. I remember y'all from my channel. We're talking about ghost hunting apps.
Yes, he said. Is there any? What's our opinion on all the ghost hunting apps? Now, I've got an opinion, and Mike, I know you've got an opinion. If you'd like to reiterate it.
Yeah, I know that there's a lot of new ones out now, and most of them are just kind of, basically the same things that the other ones are, just different names. Are there any apps that you can use on a paranormal investigation? Yes, there are, and I can't think of one specifically, but there are apps that will detect EMF. So if you don't have an EMF detector or a compass, I can't tell you exactly how accurate they are, but there are a few of them out there. I think I may do a video and pull out a few EMF meters and try to maybe compare those and see how accurate they are. Of course, you've got a phone, you've got a speaker in the phone that's magnetic. That's putting off EMFs. You got to keep that in mind.
I done exactly what you said there. I've tested one of those apps with actually just a magnet.
What are you mumbling, Mo?
No, my mic's being an idiot to get my microphone.
Okay.
As I said, I tested one of the apps with a neodymium magnet, one of the earth magnets, and it does work. You can see it pull. It does have pull, and it shows you in a very fine number. So they do work. But just to give my opinion, me and Kurt are friends with the guy who runs Paratools, Ed Bogrowski, and he released an app called the Paranormal Activity Logger. And as fascinating as all the ghost hunting apps is, this app is the only app I will ever use on an investigation, because it logs the location. You can tell it when something happens and where it happens. It is literally a logger that at the end of it creates a PDF file, and you email it to yourself or you email it to your team. And it's literally a report at the end which says this all happened at this time with this person. Here's the correlated report. And again, of all the apps I've ever seen, that is one of the only rare apps that I'd say everybody needs to go for. The Paranormal Activity Logger was fascinating. There was a second question on here, which was, and when's Mike's next video coming out?
Good question. Okay, I put one out about a week ago. It was just kind of an update, that we had moved into the location. I'm thinking probably the next video I'm going to do, it's going to be a do-it-yourself. It's going to be a do-it-yourself piece of equipment. We've actually used this on investigations. I'll go ahead and tell you guys what it is. there a lot of people like to use EM pumps. Personally, I mean, we've tried them. I mean, and I guess we haven't experimented with them enough, so we really don't know. And a lot of people use white noise, which I've got some theories on white noise. Um, but if you take a household fan, just like a little desk fan, and you turn that fan on, and it will put out some serious EMF, and you won't need an EMF pump if you've got a fan. And if people are sensitive to it, I sleep with a fan on me all the time, so my brain's probably fried from EMF. But and not only that, there's your white noise generator as well. So you've got an EM pump and a white noise generator that you probably already own. Just a simple fan.
I've heard something similar to that with white noise, but it was a guest Moan I had on years ago. She was talking about negative ionizers. Like you can buy like a small negative ionizer, put it in a room for about 25 minutes, maybe half hour, bring it out, and then put it in if you want to do any EVPs or anything like that. Whether that works or not, I don't know. But that was a theory that was brought. I was like, I don't know. What's your take on that, both you guys?
I've never really used one. I also know that oh god, what are they called? It's not a air purifier.
Dehumidifiers.
Yeah, they basically do the same thing. So we've actually got two here. There were two in our apartment when we moved in. So that may be some experimentation we've got going on with. But I really don't have any experience with that. And if I don't know it, I'm going to tell you guys I don't know it. So.
No, well played. At least you're honest. I agree with you there. You're honest, and I like it. Now, okay, can you reiterate the question to me? Sorry.
Remember we had on somebody a while back, and she was talking about negative ionizers, and she was like, put in a negative ionizer in a room, like a small one. Let it do its thing for about 20 minutes, turn it off, and then put in your recorder or whatever you're going to use to catch a supposed EVP. I mean, how believable is that? Or is that's theory in my eyes? It's only theory.
Right.
But realistically, I think that one of them, I don't know if it's positive or negative ions, is actually really bad for you. One of them
I think negative is. I think negative, for some reason.
It's really risky for you, so I'm thinking which one it is you need to be very careful of. I'm just not sure. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not sure which one it is.
We're not going to go out and buy one.
What I am going to say to you is you might die, you might not.
You're going to die.
Yeah, Mike said it. Mike's right.
So just have a friend with you and keep your recorder running the whole time, and maybe they'll catch something.
Well, failing that, we'll come and investigate you. And on that absolute bombshell, right, we're going to call it a day for the show, guys, if that's okay. As I said before, and I'll say it again, if you're not over subscribing to his channel tonight or tomorrow, there's a serious issue. You need to go over and do it. And again, once your videos are rolling again, I'm going to be all over them like a rash. Not being critical, just because I like what you do. I think it works, and I think the paranormal field doesn't need more of it. It just needs you doing it. So I'm happy with that. But
damn, man, I appreciate that, man. It means a lot. It really does.
Right. Well, you are welcome back anytime you want to come back and just gripe about somebody or pick on an app or pick on us. I don't mind. You're welcome to. And for everybody else who's came in the chat room, and all the people on Facebook who are asking the questions as well, thanks very much, guys, and thanks for showing up. And on that absolute bum note of a show that I've caused there by picking on the Ovulus and picking on everybody else and banging my head on pipes. Thank you very much, guys, for coming on. And Mike, thanks again for coming on.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Mike, man. Totally appreciate it, dude.
Hey, I'd love to come back anytime you guys want, and next time I will have a working webcam.
What do you reckon, when the working webcam comes on, right, his hair's done really well. He's got a chiseled jawline. He looks like Channing Tatum. What do you reckon? Do you reckon that's gonna happen?
Mo.
I wish my wife was listening to this right now.
No, if your wife was listening to this right now, you'd come off air and she'd be like, right, come on. That's but nevertheless, Mike, again, thank you very much, and we'll catch you. You are welcome back anytime, and we'll catch you again soon.
Awesome.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Mike, man.
Thank you, guys. We appreciate it.
See you later, guys. Bye-bye.
See you.